Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the custom for members of our orchestra to introduce the pieces that we will play this evening. My name is Stephen Guggenheim, and I will introduce the first piece, which is an overture by Felix Mendelssohn, a German composer whose short life began in 1809 and ended in 1847. It turns out that Mendelssohn's grandmother's name was also Guggenheim. So I'm here not only to welcome you on behalf of the orchestra, but also to welcome you on behalf of the whole Mendelssohn family. This overture is not an overture to an opera or a play. It's just an overture to the rest of the concert. It's called the Hebrides. The Hebrides are a group of islands off the coast, the northwest coast of Scotland. And Mendelssohn, at the age of 20, visited there to take walks, to draw, and to paint. As a matter of fact, if you have seen the poster which we used to advertise this concert, the program was printed over a drawing which Mendelssohn made himself. He was a pretty good artist. Mendelssohn went there in 1829 to take walks, to draw and to paint, as I said. And he was so charmed by the place that it motivated several of the compositions in his later life, including a sonata, a symphony, and this overture. It turns out that on that trip, Mendelssohn also went out on a boat to see some sights and got a little bit seasick. We are going to try not to reproduce that effect on you this evening with our playing. Rather, we want you to experience some of the sensations that Mendelssohn put into this music. The things he saw, the scenery, the mists and the clouds, the occasional ray of sun that penetrated through them, the fishing villages and the castles on the hills. The sea lapping against the shore, the waves crashing against the rocks, all the things that created a mood that so inspired Mendelssohn. And now, please welcome our beloved maestro, Dr. Matthew Makeever.
I'm not going to speak. We're just going to go. Hello, Bozeman. I can't see every beautiful face in here, but I can see most of them. Welcome, everybody, to the Second String Orchestra Spring Concert. My name is Matthew Makeever, and I am so delighted to just be here with all of you today. I know that you have your choice of what you can do on a Monday night, and we are so glad that you chose to spend it with us. Once again, without me, Second String Orchestra, everybody. Need notes for this. So I realized that this is an interesting thing. Outside of conducting the Bozeman Municipal Band a couple of years ago, maybe a decade ago, time flies, this is actually my conducting debut in Bozeman, my hometown. More thrilled to with this group. I have a couple of thank yous that I have to make before we move on to the next one. The first that I have to thank, I hope she's in the audience tonight, is Carrie Krause here? Somewhere. I have to thank Carrie. Carrie is the founder of the Second String Orchestra. Oh, is it over a decade ago? About a decade ago? Over a decade ago, she founded this group. And just very recently, in the last few years, have they decided to incorporate winds and brass. And then I am just so thankful for the invitation from her to be able to do this for the semester. So thank you, round of applause for Carrie. Second one is Allison Todd and the staff over at First Presbyterian Church for letting us use their space as a rehearsal space. That got these guys so well prepped. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then again, thank you very much to the Ellen for hosting us. Thrilled people. So, as many of you may know, I grew up in a musical family. The Makeevers are a household name around Bozeman, and I'm thrilled to be just a part of that family. And I'm very, very excited that in this next piece, I get to collaborate with my sister, Megan Makeever, who has just been a real inspiration to me and has really helped me with my own musical identity and my own musical journey, and has been a huge support in my life throughout all this. I am going to pass the microphone to somebody else who's going to give a little more about the next piece, but I wanted to just say that it's very special that you are all here, and I thank you all.
Hello everyone, I'm Kristen Stokes, and I would like to introduce our next piece, Suite Modale by composer Ernest Bloch. So we performed this concert yesterday out in Gallatin Gateway, and I discovered that everyone else who's introducing a piece has lots of funny jokes and quips and lively stories, and I have none of that. Sorry. I do have some facts about Ernest Bloch and about the piece, and even those are a little bit questionable because I just found them online. So here you go. Ernest Bloch was born in Switzerland in 1880. By the age of 6, he was recognized as a child prodigy on the violin. He came to the U.S. in 1916 as a conductor of a ballet tour. The ballet company actually folded not long after, only 6 weeks. But Bloch stayed in the U.S., getting hired as the first composition teacher at the Man's College of Music in New York. He gained U.S. citizenship a few years later, and he found great success in America as a composer, conductor, music school administrator, and composition teacher. He was also a very gifted photographer. Bloch wrote an enormous range of vocal, instrumental, orchestral, and choral works, many of which were inspired by his Jewish heritage. His music was regularly performed during his lifetime. He was so admired in his heyday that many considered him the fourth B, after Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. So this piece, the Suite Modale, consists of 4 movements with repeating themes throughout. This work has been described as melancholic and moody. Much of the technique sounds Baroque, even though it was written in 1956. It was one of Bloch's last works before he died. Bloch often referred to the sound of the flute as the voice of the soul, which obviously I love that. And he dedicated the piece to Elaine Schaefer, a flutist whose sound he greatly admired. And then one more thing about this piece, as Matthew said, if you know the Makeever family, you know that they are all wildly talented and so very musical. And while they have all performed together in various capacities, this is the very first time that this brother and sister pair are performing as conductor and soloist. And I just think that's a really special and significant thing that we all get to witness. So without further ado, this is Suite Modale by Ernest Bloch, featuring Megan Makeever on flute.
get away with that. My name is Chris Moore. I'm here to introduce Mozart. I have two histories for the Mozart as far as I'm concerned. The first one is the regular stuff. So Mozart wrote this when he was 27. I don't know what you guys were doing when you were 27. I wasn't doing this. It was first performed 241 years ago, this 23rd of March in 1783, so quite a while ago. It is called the Haffner Symphony, and if I got this right, Wikipedia was kind of circuitous about this, but Mozart's father knew the mayor of Salzburg, so he had some connections. He ended up having Mozart write a couple things for his kids, the mayor's kids, and that music eventually got reworked into this symphony. That's why it's called the Haffner Symphony. Let's see, the second history of this piece. When I started practicing this piece, working it up for this concert, my kid told me that he'd heard this before. In fact, he'd heard it his whole life. Because a lot of the Mozart, a lot of the difficult passages in this piece, I've been practicing since I was in my early 20s. And it's because we call them excerpts. And I realized last night that I don't think I've played the symphony before. I've only ever played the excerpts for auditions and the like. And I imagine that I'll continue to work on that for the rest of my life. And then there's one anecdote that my bass teacher shared with me about this piece. He said, and I'll quote him, if I can find the quote here. I've written too much stuff. Here we go. The technical difficulty and transparent texture in this piece caused the conductor of the Juilliard Symphony, Otto Werner Müller, so very good in German, to tell his orchestra, Mozart is not for children. Indeed, it's very hard. But I hope you enjoy this Mozart 35th Symphony. Thanks.
My day job that I have normally is with the Bozeman Symphony as their concert manager. If you like what you hear tonight and are interested in seeing more classical music, there is a discount code on the back of your program to this weekend's concerts. It's going to be wonderful. We will end tonight in a very SSO typical fashion with a fun tune with some audience participation. Bump, bump, bumps, and so good, so good, so good, all loud. Loud. Oh, yes, sorry. And it will be introduced.
Well,
I got too excited.
you got too excited.
I got too
We were excited. So, in order to So when my friend Elizabeth and I were driving home after a workout one night at practice, we decided we needed something fun. So I suggested this because I'd just been with my sisters and mom cleaning out her home of 67 years. And we needed a little break one day, and we turned on Neil Diamond and danced to Sweet Caroline. So anyway, a little bit about Neil Diamond. Actually, the sweatshirt came from his concert in Billings in 1992 that we all attended. So Neil Diamond was born January 24th, 1941 in New York City. He received his first guitar as a birthday present when he was 16 and began writing music. He attended New York University with plans to attend medical school, but dropped out in his senior year to take a job as a staff songwriter. In 1965, he signed a recording contract, released his first album, recorded many hits, and in 1969, Sweet Caroline. He recorded also the soundtrack for Jonathan Livingston Seagull. You've seen it. Earned the Grammy Award. In 1980, he starred in a remake of the movie Jazz Singer, also writing and recording all the music. He was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1984, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2011. In 2018, he received a Grammy Award for Lifetime Achievement. In 2018, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's and retired from touring, but not from writing. In 2020, he teamed up with the London Symphony Orchestra for an orchestral album of all his classic songs you might enjoy. Fun fact about Sweet Caroline, he wrote the song for his wife, Marcia, but he did a 3-syllable name to fit the melody, thus Caroline. The song is played at major sporting events worldwide, and following the 2021 pandemic, he launched a global sing-along event of this song, Sweet Caroline, and it is so good, so good, so good.
Mandatory audience participation.